Oh, truth. Is this? I've got no idea. We might be streaming. We might be streaming. Hello. 7 minutes, people. 6 minutes. Yeah. Bit chaotic. Right. Daily Chaos. 6 minutes. Hey, Lee Hollands. God bless you. I see you there on YouTube. I'll check out Facebook in a minute. Look, if you want to call in, folks, I'm flying solo tonight. And all the team, they've just left me to it because they know that this is going to be abject chaos, and they thought they'd let me stew. I don't even know where I'm streaming. I know I'm streaming on YouTube. Go on. I don't know if you can hear this. Let us know. Lee, can you hear any of this at all? Bless you. Yeah, hold on. Oh, no. There you go. Right, so whatever you want to talk about, people, gov.ly/Zoom. Give us a bell on Zoom, and I'll put that in the comments, and I'll put a UK national rate number as well, and we can have a chew the cud, have a rant. Goodness gracious me, I appear to be streaming on Facebook and YouTube. I haven't checked VK yet. There you go, an audio loop, first bit of chaos of the night. Hey David, Gary, Amanda, Sue, Ian. If you're watching an archived version, you might want to fast forward a few minutes. 3 minutes, people. 3-4 minutes. Probably 4, 5. Let's face it. For goodness sake, call in tonight, yeah, on Zoom for two reasons. First of all, because I need to set the thing up. I've got no idea if it's going to work. And secondly, because I'm flying solo, yeah, I'm flying solo. And I don't like solo shows. I like to have a chat, do you know what I mean? And I see that Patrick, yeah, Mark Patrick Conway's in there now on Facebook. Mark, for goodness sake, use the right link tonight, yeah? It's in the comments. Do. Well, I say, would you look at that? I'm on VK. Whoa. Amazing. I'm on 3 platforms tonight. Wow, I knew this tech upgrade would be worthwhile. 3 times the confusion. Okay, no excuse, people. I've actually been organised enough to put the Zoom link in the comments on all 3 platforms. And a number, UK national rate. Oh, blimey. Hold on. There we go. Oh, yeah. Hey! Hey, folks. Good evening. Good people. Good morning. Good afternoon. Wherever you happen to be. Welcome to the Daily Chaos. Ordo ab KO. Yeah. I'm Olly Connelly. Thanks for turning up. It's more than my bloody co-host could be bothered to do tonight. Oh, hold on. And now, I've got absolutely no idea. I just thought it was time to get the show back on the road. You know what I mean? I had a bit of chaos. I did some tech stuff, changed a few things. 1 step back to go 3 steps sideways. And all that. Yeah. And I've just realised there's all sorts of things that are missing from the show tech-wise tonight, but that's okay. That's okay. So we've already got Conway popped in, which is going to be fascinating because I haven't actually tested Zoom yet with this new system. And yeah, taking your calls, basically. Taking your calls. We're going on VK as well as on YouTube and Facebook tonight. Amazing. Subject to Clegg, of course. So yeah, call in and tell us, what do you want to talk about? Which moron should we talk about tonight? Piers moron. I don't know. All right, okay. Conway, good evening. Can you hear me, sir?
Good evening, Olly. How are you?
I'm okay? Very well. Very well. Having fun. What's going on with your video? You look like a spaceman or something.
Why?
Yeah, you do. I mean, quite funky, I have to say.
That was me trying out that green screen technology, Olly. I don't know what I'm doing right or wrong. I'm not too sure.
Well, it's quite an improvement. Yeah, you're looking good. Nice.
I'm not too sure how I got that.
What?
I'm not too sure how I've managed to do that, Olly.
No, neither am I. It's very funky, Mark. So, tell me, what's going on? Because I've got no idea what's going on in the world of fake stream. Or maybe I do, but let's just pretend I don't. And you tell me, what's going on?
Well, as per usual, we're getting lied to left, right and centre. It's all fake. I've just checked out that parlay. You're coming through sound everywhere, Olly. It sounds perfect.
Really?
No buffering, no delays. But there is a delay on VK. There's about a 20-second delay there, I think it is.
Oh, yeah. Russians! Yeah, okay, all right. No, that makes sense. Well, this is
everything is
lots of new stuff going on tonight. Pardon?
Just an update about what's been going on with myself and me child and what happened to me.
Yeah, man. What is going on there?
Maybe
give us a bit of a recap just of what happened.
What happened was I saw on the 5th of February this year, another Mark Conway was being sought by Warwickshire Police because of concerns over him. And they put it out on the internet, police, Facebook, all the sites and whatnot. Same day, 5 police officers smashed through my door. The similarities are he's ages 53, I'm 52. We both live in Warwickshire. And that's where the similarities end. But this chap was wanted for rape and abducting a woman, although they put it out as a well-being check, hoping that they'll get a quicker response. But that happened on the 5th of February. Then on the 18th of February, I had the police phoning me up telling his practice to get out. Made complaints. 24th of February, I had the police come back again. There's a third force by this time. So me and my son away, just get it out of the way for a bit. We went up to Middlesbrough, got up there on the 26th of February. At 6:20 in the morning, 16 police officers smashed through my door and took me off to the police station. When they realised that I wasn't that Mark Conway they were looking for, they said that I assaulted police officers. They told social services that I left my son on his own, unsupervised, and I went to the pub. They said that I was intoxicated with a child. They said that I obviously attacked them, and also that I was possibly on drugs. Social services had an emergency court hearing and removed my son from my custody. The last 2 weeks ago, so it's starting to come out the evidence.
So hold on, let's just get that right. So you're involved in a case of mistaken identity. The police knock on your door, and despite the fact that they were at the wrong address, talking to the wrong bloke, some sort of an altercation took place. Presumably,
they forced their way in on it.
They forced their way in.
Yeah. They forced their way in.
I kind of imagine that you didn't take too kindly to that, and they decided, let's take his kid away via the social services?
I told him to piss off twice. I called him CUNT 3 times, and I called him a dickheads.
You were slightly provoked, it has to be said. They didn't allow for the fact that there was a case of mistaken identity at all?
Nothing, Ollie. They treated me completely throughout the whole day as if I was just with Mark Conway. They held me down 8 minutes with 2 of them with the knees on the back of my head. This was in the police station. Stripped me naked. They said the child isn't his. Strip him. And they said put him in the rape room. They treated me like I was some kind of kiddie fiddler.
So they didn't believe that you were not the other Mark Conway?
Yeah.
Is that...
They believed they carried on as if I was, and they told social services all kinds of lies. But the court had family court 2 weeks ago. The judge ordered that.
Hold on. At what point was it determined, and how, that there had been a case of mistaken identity?
Well, I got a letter off the police apologising.
So they held you in a cell, and then they let you go? What, did they let you go after your...
No charges, no bail conditions, no fingerprints, no photographs, no DNA, nothing.
But by that time, your kid had been taken away from you?
Yeah.
Okay, what happened then? You got a letter of apology. What? How long did that take?
Apology. The Warwickshire police are apologised. All the rest of them are denying it. What the officer that phoned me, they're denying the phone call, even though I got it recorded. The officers coming back round to my house the second time, they're denying that even exists. I can't even find out who it was. Then obviously that altercation up in Middlesbrough, it was too late. Once they forced the door open, Ollie, it was too late. They couldn't go back on what they did because they did it by mistake, and they shouldn't have done what they did. And realistically, it's just a father away with his son in a hotel, and I was nothing to do with what went on in that hotel. What did happen? What I found out is that a lady that was staying there and the manager got drinking with 2 lads, sniffing coke, drinking spirits. The lads started arguing. Someone put a knife to the manager's throat, stole the phone and the money. Police was called. The manager told them that a father was in the hotel with his son. They told him my details, and they checked on my details, my name, but come up with the other Mark Conway. I've got a PNC. I've asked for a subject access request to get the PNC, which is, where they go and check the computers to see if you're wanted and whatnot. And it shows quite clearly that before they come into my hotel, they checked for that was a Mark Conway, not me. So they approached it. They had no grounds to come to mine as a welfare check. They're using a welfare check as their excuse for calling on me and knocking at the door. But they had no grounds for it. It clearly says in the Stockton report that I was nothing to do with the altercation. It wasn't me that was involved in anything, and all I was doing was peacefully sleeping in my bed. The judge ordered 2 weeks ago that I was nothing to do with the altercation. I was nothing to do with drugs, nothing to do with drink, and I didn't leave my son on his own. But the judge did order that my behaviour by swearing at the police in front of my son contributed to his fear of what is already going on. And so they decided that I ain't getting my son back as of yet, but I'm allowed 2 phone calls a week supervised by social services.
They're saying, let me get this right, they're saying that your anger at having been incorrectly identified by the police was grounds for your son to be kept away from you.
Yeah, that's right, yeah. That's what they're saying now, yeah. It's from day one.
What do they expect? You to make a cup of tea?
It looked terrible on it, it did. On paperwork, what the police read out and the social services court read out, it looks terrible. Anybody look at it, you think, what a complete tosser of me, but it weren't the truth, Ollie. What they did was they created a narrative to take my son and support it in any way they could, and regardless of how much the should we say played around with the words. For example, when Stockton phoned up Coventry and Warwickshire Children's Services, both of them, Coventry Services said he should be returned back to his father when he gets released from the police station, and Coventry said the same. And the Coventry, in fact, went on to say, if you disagree with our decision, we don't support you, you need to consult your legal team. In other words, take us to court. But nevertheless, they was forced to get involved because of Stockton removing my son from my custody, which they shouldn't have done. But nevertheless, they've had to add it onto it to make, I don't know what the motive was. I really don't. But it stinks of lies. It's they've handled it really bad.
Yeah, it sounds it.
Local authorities.
They've really cocked up, and they don't want to admit that, presumably because they don't want to be liable, I guess.
Yes, that's exactly it, Ollie. The court said that we believe you've got plenty to offer for your son, Mr. Conway, and we'd like to return him to you. Then after the court hearing, solicitor phoned me and said that they want to return your son to you, but you need to draw a line under it. If you carry on pursuing the police for their actions, then that's not drawing your line under it, and your son will not be returned to you. That's what I've been told now.
Blimey.
Which is blackmail.
Yes, it is. It sounds it.
So what I'm going to do is I've went and paid out £440 for a psychologist to have private lessons with me for anger management and emotional what's it called again? Emotional. I can't remember the name of it. But anyways, I've been proactive there, and so then when I go to court the next time, they've got no argument against me, you know. And that's the way it stands at the minute. But
have you taken legal advice?
Yeah, I've got 3 sets of solicitors now on standby to take the police to court.
So what have they said? What have they advised you? Have they said that because, for example, you had that letter of apology, that stands you in good stead, or what?
They're itching to tear into them. Truthfully, Ollie, I've been charged now for assaulting a police officer, of which I'm looking forward to going to. It's going to go to Crown Court up in Stockton or Middlesbrough, or whichever one the court is, Magistrates Court. I'm pleading not guilty. I'm going to take it straight to Crown Court. They had no grounds to come to my door. A welfare check doesn't give authority to go through a door unless there's a few other things met, i.e. you're an escaped prisoner, you're wanted for an offence, you're committing an offence, you're damaging property, and life or limb. Now, none of them was, the police never met that target, so they came through my door illegally, and they acted out of duty, which means everything from then onwards is immaterial anyway.
Was it illegal?
You wanted to change, and I said I wanted to use a Section 24A PACE on the police officer and arrest her.
Hold on, whoa! Hold on, I want you to cover all that, because that I want to understand that. But first of all, was them breaking into your house, was it illegal, even though it was a mistake?
No, don't forget they come through a door twice. One was at my home, and the other one was at the hotel. The last one being the most severe, which is the hotel. When they came to the door, I refused them entry because of what we'd already gone through with the police. My son was already petrified of the police coming to the door, thinking he's going to take his dad, which is understandable. He's only 7 years of age.
Yeah.
And he went and hid in his bedroom when the police came back. But I had a full right to refuse entry, and I had good grounds to refuse entry. They weren't listening to that. They wanted to know what Mark Conway it was that was in that room. That's what they wanted. They're denying it, of course, but that's down to me to prove it.
That was at a time when they still were under the impression that you were the other Mark Conway, no?
Yeah. For all those that are listening to this, if you type in Mark Conway missing Coventry Telegraph, you'll be able to see the photograph of the chap. It's not me. And then if you type in, he's pleaded guilty now, and he's waiting for sentencing in July to rape and abducting a woman. He's on remand now.
Is
but
it
it happened all at the same time as when, I was suffered for the fact that I've just got the same name over it.
your boy? Is it correct that he's with his grandmother?
Yeah, yeah.
So at least he's with somebody that you can trust.
No, he isn't. No, I don't trust him. No, no, I don't. I don't.
No.
I want him home with me. He's safe at home with me, and that's what my fight is. And I'm not going to give up. I'm going to fight them. That's it. I'm going to tell them that I'm not going to fight them. Try and get my son back in my care. And I've got, I think, about 15 months to take action against the police because of the Limitations Act of 1988. I think it's 12 months, but it starts from when we go to court. So by the time we get to court, I estimate about 15 months, 14 months before I can take, I run out of time to take action against the police. But I'm gonna bullshit it really. I'm not gonna bullshit. I'm not gonna attack. I'm not going for the police. I'm not at all, and I'm gonna get my son back. Once I've got my son back, I'll go to the subject again. That's what I'll say.
So these lawyers, you say you've got 3 sets of lawyers, and they're raring to go. But I mean, presumably this is. Can you get legal aid?
Yeah, because it's a criminal offence. Because it's assault. It's obviously a criminal offence. You get legal aid. But I've got a solicitor that specifically deals with police corruption and abuse of powers.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
And he says yes, he's happy to take on the case on a no-win, no-fee basis. He's seen the evidence I've got so far. Well, not all of it, but some of it, which clearly says that they come through my door in my house illegally and unlawfully as well, and I'm entitled to damages for that. But it's the the last matter in Middlesbrough, which was the most severe. It's completely destroyed my life, Ollie, and it's turned it upside down. I've lost my whole family over it. My other son has also heard about Dad being arrested for raping and abducting someone, which I haven't, obviously. But nevertheless, he doesn't want nothing to do with me because of what he's heard. And I haven't been able to see him because of this COVID-19 lockdown to tell him what's really happened. A poisoned mother, I suppose, is all the best I can say about it, has said what she's had to say. And that's what I've been left with, the chaos of it all, the daily chaos of it all.
Mark.
But
Amanda Rolfson in the comments, she says there's a lot of children that get taken away from their parents illegally. They end up disappearing, never to be seen again. It goes really deep, Ollie. This chap needs to keep a close eye on them. I know, Amanda, I've had people on this show telling me similar stories and how the SS, the social services, have come in and taken their kids or tried to take their kids, and under very dubious circumstances, possibly for political reasons. And
I think it's a gravy train. I do.
Well, I mean, we do know. I mean, it's good, even though you don't get on with her, Mark, it's good to know, is it not, that your boy is with a member of your family at least? Because, I mean, there's so many kids that go missing every year. And it is frightening to even, remotely consider why we know that we got a serious problem with all. Smile says John Wedger, ex-police, may be able to help. He's on Facebook. He's been on this show as John. He's an awesome bloke. I don't know. That maybe.
I think I've got all bases covered now, Ollie, truthfully. It's just down to the court getting my son back, really. I think it's an open closed book with the police, I think. What the evidence that's there, it's fairly obvious that they was looking for this other Mark Conway. They had no grounds to come through my door. So, why would they?
I'm going to go through some of the news going on today and this week and at the moment. Mark, will you please join me for the rest of the show? And if anybody wants to call in on Zoom, please do. gov.ly/Zoom, which apparently is working Despite Mark's terrible green screen attempt for his video, but it is working. And you can also call on UK national rate number 033 11264, and that web address for Zoom and that national rate number are at the top of the comments in YouTube and on Facebook and on VK, where the sum total of 2 people are watching on VK. It is my first time going out on VK, and so good evening to both of you. It's a little bit better on Facebook and YouTube. Hey, we're winging it tonight, yeah, folks, because I did have some tech hassles. Basically completely changed the system, particularly the audio, and couldn't get it working. Was banging my head against the wall the last few days and what have you, trying to get this working. And that's why I took Thursday night and last night off. But it is Monday to Thursday at 7 p.m. UK time. That's 2 p.m. EDT. Mr. President, if you want to give us a shout and tell us about draining the swamp and that prosecutor that you just sacked, and is that because of he was in the way of bringing about the truth with Joe Biden and Ukraine? I want to hear all about that, sir. So give us a shout. We've got David Ruswell just popped in on Facebook. God bless you, Davey. Give us a shout. Give us a shout. gov.ly/Zoom. That is a Zoom link. And let's take a few comments and see what people have got to say before we look at some of the news going on and decide, I don't know, who is our moron of the week or something like that. Ivor Binband, who I happen to know is Kerry Swan, says, I don't think I could rest until those responsible have suffered, referring to Mark and his boy. Tanis maybe will call in, according to Charlotte. I'm rewatching Grace and Frankie, says Charlotte Jameson. That's great. That is completely screwed up my comment reading. People are basically... Has anybody got a question that is related to the chaos going on in this world? Or are you just having a chat about what was on telly last night? What a bloody useless lot on Facebook in the comments. I don't think there's any point reading any of that. Back over on YouTube. Kat Gladson's popped in. I know you're Sarah Boland, Kat. It's good to know. Going to check in on Fastbook, says Kat. Oh, blimey. Don't bother. Nikki Paddington, who gave me a very hard time on Daily Chaos.news. That was the last show, wasn't it? Daily Chaos.news, which is the new site, people. Gave me a very, very hard time on there a couple of days ago, saying, when is the show coming back? It's back. There you go, Nikki. It's here. Proof of the cake is in the chaos. Says, Ollie, ask Rodders if he can help me with stopping this child abuse in schools with forced isolation, which is psychologically damaging our children. Well, he might pop on a bit later. Old, what's his name? Rodders, that's it. Viscount St David's. He might pop on a bit later. He's helping his kid, Delphina, with her homework tonight because she's got an exam tomorrow, bless her. So he can't make it, but he might be here at the top of the hour in about half an hour or so. He reckon he'd try. Otherwise, he'll be in tomorrow. So, hey, call in, Nicky, and you can ask him yourself. But he does a lot of work for charity, mate. So he might help. He certainly does a lot of work for the vets. Amanda Rolfson heard something about this regarding Mark and his case before, she says. And Marley Daniels and one or two other folks talking about UKIP. Marley says, talk about UKIP demise and Freddie Vacker. He's the new leader, isn't he? The new leader, Freddie Vacker. I don't know. Anybody got any views on him? Tell me. Marley, I don't know whether Marley's a boy or a girl. I don't know. Sorry. Marley Daniels, maybe both, or trans, I don't know, hedgehog, says 7,000 members and falling. That's UKIP now. 7,000 members and falling, eh? Yeah, yeah. That's because your NEC is crap, full of establishment. I don't know. You might as well be Theresa May. Bunch of tossers on that NEC. I hope they all implode. I hope this Freddie Vaca Rooney bloke sorts it out. But they didn't want, Gerard Batten, did they? Or Richard Brain, and they were both pretty cool. They didn't want them. No, we don't want people that are democratically elected. Oh, no. Oh, yeah, UKIP NEC. What a joke. Might as well be, Keir Starmer in there or something. Anyway, right, we've got Chris Boozy popped in on Zoom now. Boozy, bless you, mate. How you doing? Stateside. Have you been looted yet?
No, I'm here. So if I'd been looted, I'd probably be languishing a cell somewhere because it would have been the last thing they tried to do.
Yeah,
but
that's right. This guy, he's a minister. He's a Christian minister bloke who packs a whatnot. That's our Boozy. He packs a, I don't know what. Goodness knows what guns. Have you had to whip any of them out and, I don't know, pistol whip any Chaz lot?
No,
or
you
anything?
can't pistol whip someone that would. You can shoot them. You can't pistol whip them.
No? I don't like that. Right.
No. Simply put, at the moment, I'm not even doing armed. The security I'm doing is unarmed because the contract I was on. The Navy didn't need us anymore, so they had to reassign us in different places on different contracts, and there was no armed contracts available. So, but I'm getting paid similarly, a little bit of a pay cut because you get paid less if you don't carry. But,
right. Well, if you're not packing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
it's actually quite a considerable difference.
Chris, sorry for butting in, Chris, but that microphone might be a tad just too close to your mouth, pal, because it's coming back as reverberating a little bit.
Okay, is that any better?
Yeah, that's sad.
Okay.
I'll tell you, your sound is a lot better than Conway's. Right, Chris Boozy is in California, and so he can give us a bit of an update. He was actually due on the show last night, but we had to cancel, and so I'm very, very pleased, Chris, that you are on, because I want to know what is the deal now with November and that election coming up. Is it all going to go tits up and the swamp is going to, I don't know, swim another day, or is Trump going to get re-elected despite that, measly turnout at his Juneteenth rally the other day, and start locking them up?
Okay, there have been some interesting developments. It might not seem related, but first off, basically there was a an attorney for the Southern District of New York. Now, they had a placeholder in there, and he was basically told, basically he's a placeholder, and the rules say that the president can appoint someone, and it has to be approved by the Senate. However, the person can be removed at the sole discretion of the president. So what we had was Attorney General Barr announced that there'd be a new person, and the incumbent said, "Well, I ain't going anywhere. You can't announce this. This is not happening until it's all gone through the proper procedures and all that. I'm not going anywhere. You have no power to do this." And then they came back. The Attorney General went, Trump, sack him. And
hold on,
Trump
you're talking about Berman.
Yeah.
This is a prosecutor for where? For where? Sorry.
The Southern District of New York.
Right. And so this is a big gig. This bloke was supposed to be. He took over from some Obama acolyte, as I understand it, at the beginning of the
but he was still swamp.
But he's turned into swamp. So he's basically been bought, or he always was. It was a case where he was put in place as an interim because of a position he held, and it was just kind of to keep the tie. It was actually in order to let him hang himself. Why is this guy and his position important?
Okay, the reason this is important, is he has been involved in covering up and keeping a lid on an investigation into Biden for Ukrainian corruption. And he has been trying to basically kill this whole investigation, abuse his position.
That's right.
But they knew he was going to do it. It's one of those things where give people enough rope and let them hang themselves, and that's something that Trump is doing with some of these positions, because they haven't got enough to take them out.
But he, in his case, this Berman bloke, he didn't actually hang himself, if you like, in that analogy. But what he did do was try to sweep this Biden investigation under the rug, and eventually
that is malfeasance. That is an offence.
Well, it is, but but
the thing is, that's why it's so important, because they knew he would do something like this. They knew he was swamp, but they
let's get this right. So Attorney General William Barr, he decided, he got fed up with this bloke, and he announced that the guy was resigning. And then the guy turns around, Berman turns around, and he says, I didn't know anything about that. I'm not resigning. I'm not going anywhere. And so then Trump sacks him.
Yes. But the thing is, he was sacked. Basically, he was a placeholder. That was all he was. He was keep the boat steady. That was what he's supposed to do.
Sounds like a bloody barnacle.
He was corrupt. But he was corrupt. They knew he was going to be corrupt in post. It's a way of getting rid of some of these swamp creatures that haven't done enough to warrant prosecution. So now they've got enough to warrant prosecution. They've now put in a new placeholder to wait, who is trustworthy, to wait for the Senate to approve this new person, which will be probably about a week or two for that to happen. And then the new guy goes in.
Blimey.
What they've made very clear, though, is they will be watching. They've said, we'll be watching you as a hawk, and if we find that you are interfering with anything and doing what you're not employed to do, i.e., involved in this, you'll be locked up. You'll be prosecuted because you can't do that.
So the big picture here is that Trump gets elected. They don't like that. So they get this bloke Mueller on the case to try and, disgrace Trump. Doesn't find anything. All the Russians, all over the media. They don't find a thing. The media basically uses the entire Amazon forest in newsprint, in paper, talking about Russians. And there's nothing.
And the Flynn case, which is
Flynn. Yeah, Michael Flynn. Oh, they sack people. They all sorts of malfeasance goes on. They don't get anything on POTUS, and then they try to impeach him, and it's a political impeachment. That is a complete sham. They see it in the Senate, and only that Romney bloke, who's a total tosser, is the only one that votes with the Democrats, the Democrantifanatics, and he's the only one. And he's a moron as well as a Mormon, and they don't get him. They still don't get him, and so then the shoe's on the other foot, And it's Trump is cleared. He's cleared, despite CNN. He's cleared of everything. They got nothing on him. Nothing. Oh, he wanted to grab some bird by the pussy. That was it. Every bloke has said that down the public bar. Anybody that's ever shot pool knows that. So anyway, apparently he fancied birds. But apart from that, nothing. And then what happens? Oh, yeah. So then it turns out...
Get COVID.
This bloke. It turns out that actually the Russians, the Ukrainians, the big story is Biden and Hunter, his son. And there's all sorts of dodgy dealings there and nepotism and all that. And, backhanders here. And then it turns out there's stuff going on with China. China. Hold on. I got a quote from old, what's his name? It's not there. Oh, Trump. Oh, yeah, here it is. Here was Trump. I asked Trump about this earlier. So anyway, it turns out that the story isn't about Trump and Russians. It's about Biden and Ukrainians. And now, this prosecutor bloke, this Berman, another moron, is supposed to be investigating this, prosecuting this, tries to stick it under the rug. So they've got rid of him. So the bottom line, people, is that there might now be a little bit of draining of the swamp. And this is the thing, isn't it, Chris? This is why this is exciting. Because basically Trump has had to spend 3.5 years of precious American time trying to get himself in a position with the chess pieces on the board in such a way that he could go for the swamp. And now he might be able to.
Yeah, and the concern about the elections. Okay, at the midterm elections, when the Democrats let's be said, DNC, Destroy the Nation and Constitution Party, when they took the House, there was electoral fraud. A task force was set up after just before the midterms. They couldn't do anything about the midterms because they needed to gather the information.
You're talking about Flynn.
No.
No, go on.
I'm talking about the electoral fraud within the United States.
Right.
And a task force has been set up by the Trump administration to investigate the elections and make sure that we can ensure free and fair elections in the United States.
Good idea.
And there we have.
They could do that entire hamlets.
We have electronic voting where you can vote on a machine. We have postal voting, and we
what
have
could possibly go wrong
voting.
with either of those?
But all three of these systems, or the other two systems that are not electronic, get electronically verified. So the most important thing to make sure it is correct is the electronic system, because if the electronic system is screwed, everything's screwed. Yeah.
How did Trump ever get in on that basis with, I don't know, someone like Bill Gates in charge of the tech?
Okay, right. Let's put it
giving
this
it
way.
a virus.
You know how there was electoral fraud in how we believe there was electoral fraud in the Brexit referendum, but they
and we reckon that the margin was much bigger.
They miscalculated the strength of support, and therefore because when you want to rig an election, you don't want to make it like a banana republic like Zimbabwe, where you get 98% people vote for Mugabe, because it's quite clear that it's a load of bollocks.
Even though he's dead. Yeah, that's right.
Exactly. But this, you get what I mean? This is the kind of thing. So in Western democracies, and I say that with speech marks, when they rig elections, on the tiniest of levels, and things don't always go their way.
Macron-esque. Macron.
They do little minor wins. So they stack the deck slightly in the favour of their favoured one, based on what they think the level of support is, so that they can just edge them. Because then no one's going to think that it's been rigged. Because if it's only an edged election, how is that going to be rigged? It's all about the optics of it.
Yeah.
So what happened, we believe, happened in the Brexit referendum is that there was a level of rigging, but they didn't realise the level of support leaving the EU had, which is why we won by a small margin, because they only tipped the scales a little bit, not enough to not enough to actually get the result they wanted. Same thing happened with the Trump election. They rigged the election slightly. The NSA has actually seen evidence of the electoral machines having additional votes added to it. These electoral machines, which were owned by Soros, were.
Surely not. Hold on.
Yes.
Good Lord.
Yeah.
I don't believe it.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Exactly. So what's now happened is they've been working on, and suddenly the Democrats have found out that this investigation has been going on behind their backs, and that they've ensured the security of the elections on the electronic system.
So who's in charge?
There's a big push. This is why there's a big push for postal ballots, because it's their last-ditch attempt. Because they can stack the postal votes, and then they've got to get them verified and all this. And it makes it, even though the electronic system's there, you still can have some fraudulent postal votes. That's how they're trying to do it. However, that is not going to work. What's most interesting is the backlash that has been in places like California against the actions of the governor.
Now hold on. Whoa. Okay, we'll come on to that.
But that has actually meant that there is actually talk going around, which this would be absolutely catastrophic. If this happened, if California, as they're suggesting, may actually happen. Yeah. If California declares for Trump, that's the election over.
Yeah, big time.
Because if California goes red, you've got 3 states in America.
Oh, it would be so exciting. It would be so funny. It would be so funny.
There's 3 states, New York,
it would be funnier.
California.
Go on.
New York, California, and Texas.
Yeah.
Those 3 states, on a popular vote, just purely on popular vote, those states could be able to decide, which is why they're trying to get rid of the Electoral College. Those 3 states
on their own
have more voters,
not quite, but
than every other state put together. So, which is why there's a big push for the Democrats in Texas, because it's the one they haven't got.
Yeah, that's right.
If California were to declare Trump, declare Republican, you may as well stop watching the election night results, because the election's declared.
Yeah, that's it. Okay, hold on. Whoa. We'll come on to that. We'll come back to that. But this report into election friggin' in the rigging, when is it going to come out, or has it come out?
Well, they're not doing a report. What they're doing is they've done an investigation and a safeguarding action against it. So they're not outing about the electoral fraud; they're counteracting. So they're not going to put a report out saying, "Oh, there's been electoral fraud." They're actually just going to prevent the electoral fraud from happening in the first place.
Well, that's brilliant. But surely to do that, they need to.
But the thing is,
go on.
But by doing it this way, because by having the agencies working on it, you can ensure the safeguarding of the election, and then, because to put a report out, it has to go to committees and blah 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 blah, and for actions to happen, it takes a long time going through that way. So you secure the elections, and then the report, you can produce a report based on your findings in the second Trump presidency. in the second term.
Yeah. I'll tell
Because
you,
it's more important to ensure the integrity of the election at this point.
Sure. You're right. You're absolutely right.
Produce a report. The report can come after. You can provide the evidence.
What is there any way that these Democratic governors, etc., can get their way and allow dead people to vote in November? Because that's what they're trying to do. They basically want to print a shed load, stick them on the street corner, and get, I don't know, whoever they want, dogs and cats down the pet shop to fill these things out, and then take them down the ballot box booth place, and just completely rig it. That's what they want to doing, isn't it? With dead votes and all that. Can they get away with that devious scheme, Tower Hamlets-esque, Peterborough?
They can do it to the state elections. However, when it starts interfering with federal elections, the federal government has primacy. This is why there becomes a little bit of a back and forth about states' rights.
Yes.
Because the state has the right to stipulate its own election rules. However, only stipulating them, if those rules then go against federal rules, those rules cannot be used in a federal election.
That makes sense.
So the federal government can interfere if they have reasonable cause to say that there's going to be a federal impact to what they're doing. This is why we've now got a situation, and I'll show you the difference, because it's actually quite a good thing to do. Right, this is if I can get it. This is my California driving license.
Nice.
And if
you didn't have a tash then. You didn't have a tash.
But if you see, there's a bear with a star on it. Yeah, on it in the top corner.
I thought that
now
was you.
That means that it is what's called a real ID. Okay, that means it's
right.
That means that the checks have been done. It's a federally approved form of identification, which means you can vote. Basically, they know that you are a genuine person.
Yeah.
There is another ID, and I don't think I've got it to one hand, but there's another ID called. I also have a California state ID.
Yeah.
Because sometimes I don't want to carry this. Now, this California state ID has instead of that bear, has federal limits apply. Now, that is a non-real ID, and those can be issued to illegals.
Right. Why?
And
why do they give them and not a kit into Mexico?
Because it's the People's Socialist Republic of California.
Okay, carry on. Sorry, we knew that, didn't we? Sanctuary state. Yeah, carry on.
But it's because it's a sanctuary state.
So there's one ID which is ID, and there's another ID which is not, basically.
Yeah, exactly. But the DMV is in charge of collecting. That's where you register to vote.
The DNV.
So they have
what's that?
Yeah, the Department for Motor Vehicles.
Right.
So obviously, I'm not registered to vote, but you would register to vote with the DMV and get your. No, well, it's one of the ways, but there's a thing called motor voter.
Ticked off.
Sorry, my wife's just interjected. So there's.
It's my job. I'm supposed to make his life difficult.
Yes, quite right.
But there's a thing called motor voter.
Don't shave off that tash. Sorry, go on, Chris.
Yeah, she actually likes it. So the motor voter is a system that's actually under investigation at the moment because of names going on to the voting rolls that shouldn't have gone on the voting rolls. And this is why we have these real IDs, because the states that are requiring a real ID are now required to have a real ID, like New York and California. They're sanctuary states. So the federal government can actually know who is really supposed to be there, as in which one they're actually going to recognize. So you can't buy a firearm with an ID that says federal limit supply. Anything that has you can't travel interstate with a
right.
Like on the plane. You can't fly.
Chris, come November, is there really, 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 realistically a chance that California could turn red?
With the levels of restrictions that we're experiencing right now, yes.
How?
How is because our governor has gone. He is being FDR-esque in the amount of executive orders he's putting out.
What's that?
And FDR, when FDR was president, he put out nearly two executive. He even put out nearly two executive orders a day during his presidency.
Right.
The governor basically has the view, because he has police state powers by the California state constitution, so long as he does not infringe upon the state or the federal constitution. He is not acting in relation to that caveat. He's going past that. So there's Democrats in the California legislature that are calling for him to be removed of powers right now.
So what you're saying, and by the way, Conway,
it's basically
you want to just a sec, Chris, hold on. Mark Conway, if there's anything you want to chip in, please do. What you're saying, Boozy, is that this governor, you reckon, he might not be popular enough, and therefore, because he's been chucking his weight around too much. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, basically, he has basically gone so far, and he's a Democrat governor, and he's always been saying the same things that the National Democratic Party. California is setting the national, it's a national model for the Democratic Party. They want to make the whole of the US California. The Californians are now starting to realize, oh crap, with what level of power they've got, the Democrats actually, when they have a situation like this, what the Democrats do. And who's
saying
California.
That? Who's saying that? You think
I'm seeing Facebook
people.
I'm seeing the walk away, the people who are talking online and all of this, who are lifetime Democrats, who are basically saying, I can't in good conscience vote for the Democrats. They are when we had these lockdowns, California had the biggest number of we've had boom months, as in biggest in like 25, 30, 40 years of biggest since they've ever kept record of the amount of people who are putting in requests to be checked to be allowed to purchase a firearm. And you have to have this check done every single time. Every month has been ever increasing since these lockdowns have been going on, and California has been the biggest state for it. Loads of these liberals
basically all these libs who said, oh no, you shouldn't have guns.
They've all now going out and buying guns because they're shit scared of what's going on at the moment. Yeah. And the fear.
So they should be. They should be.
Yeah, exactly. But because they're shit scared of it, and all they're seeing is the posturing. And we've now had the governor say, make a mandatory. If you are in a public space, be it inside or outside, you must at all times wear a mask. As in, he is not. If you will be prosecuted if you're caught, even just adjusting your mask outside. That is the kind of thing, and people are going, screw this.
What a dick.
And people are. This is why all this Black Lives Matter crap has been kicked off, because people have realised what the Democrats are all about, and so they're starting to instigate a race war to try and basically say, oh, the current administration's racist, and and that's why. Yeah. And this is their last ditch attempt. This is what they're trying to do. What is also being hidden is it has come out that the federal guidelines for actions in relation to people like who have coronavirus, especially the elderly. Newsom, Cuomo, Whitmer, Wolf, and Murphy. So,
what are these governors? Are they governors?
These are governors. These are blue governors who have all mandated by governor executive order to force all elderly people who have coronavirus, once they have had the treatment that they need in a hospital, to recuperate. Even while they're still infected, they would be put, even if they had their own place or anything like that, no, you must be put into a nursing home for them to care for you. It was against federal guidelines because of the great risk for turning these nursing homes and assisted living facilities basically into petri dishes and coronavirus farms for the elderly to basically kill everyone off. And that was actually put in the federal guidelines.
Is it true?
Do not do this because people will die as a direct result of it. These 5 governors went against the federal guidelines on this, where they were told not to do it. They went ahead and did it. People have died. And by the very legal definition under US law, if you act either through, even if they try and say, oh, well, we didn't know, we made a mistake, ignorance or negligence, if you act in such a way that you, as a political figure in doing such a thing, and it's out of ignorance or negligence, it is still classed by law as murder in the 3rd degree. For each person is a count, which means that when you've got people like Cuomo and Newsom, I looked at the figures, and the current figures in California is 584 people have died in nursing homes of COVID because of this.
So they're all Democrat. They're all Democrat, are they? Because I'd heard. Just a sec, Chris. Hold on. Let me ask the question. Because I'd heard that these atrocities, that these terrible things, this awful handling of elderly people coming out of hospital, sending them into nursing homes, despite, as you say, the federal guidelines. I'd heard that it was only happening in blue states, in Democrat states. Is that true, or is that propaganda somewhere?
I believe that there is one rhino who has done this, but he is a Democrat wearing a red rosette. It's basically as simple as that. And I think he's in Maryland. Maryland.
Why? Is that negligence? I mean, come on, they weren't seriously trying to kill elderly people. Well, was it just stupidity or what?
Well, it could be stupidity. It doesn't matter. It could be stupidity. It could be intent. It could be negligence. Under the law, it's a minimum of 3rd degree murder in the 3rd degree. Wow. If they can prove intent, it goes up to murder in the 2nd degree. Yeah. Okay, but this is for this many cases.
Amazing.
This means that the feds can actually arrest every single one of these governors and prosecute them for the murder of all of these people.
Okay. Setting aside, because these kind of court cases can take years to come to
but
fruition.
It would be, but
Chris,
if they are
let me
arrested,
finish that question.
Sorry.
Yeah,
Sorry.
they can take years to come to fruition, can't they? But setting that aside, because it may well be that we don't really get the court cases until after November. The American people in California, people that could possibly, from what you said earlier, tilt that state into the red from the blue, which would be amazing. And that would be incredible. Are the voters aware of this story that you're aware of, this nursing home scandal?
Yeah. Yes. It is being pushed around in media. They are very aware of it in Wisconsin. They're very aware at this. Where people are starting to become aware of it now. So it's because now they're actually putting out that this is. They're not just saying this happened. They're actually putting the executive. They're publishing it in the news with the executive ordering it, and saying this is how many people died. This is what the law says. Here's this. So it's local news that are reporting it, and that's the thing. The local news are the ones that are going to hammer this. The national media, based in DC or New York, are not gonna report it on this. However, these local news sources and people are going away from the mainstream, but they're still listening to their local news. Like even in my house, we don't watch the mainstream. We don't watch, even though we've got some liberals here. We do not watch the mainstream. We do not watch CNN, ABC in the main room. We only put on KUSI, which is a local news site, and we get our national news from the local source.
Yeah, sure.
Because they will cover the local as well as the local stuff. And
okay.
And they're a lot less partisan.
Okay, we're going to come back and talk about more issues to do with stateside. We've got Chris Boozy here from California, God bless him, who is our stateside stringer to tell us what's going on there. And I'm going to be asking him about the Chaz zone in a little bit to find out what the deal is there with that. What is it? Anyway, before then, let's take a few comments and see what people have got to say. Debbie Shaw says, hi, Ollie. Hey, Debs. Couple of us sitting and eating and listening in at the moment. Good. Thank you. And Nigel Brown says, good evening, pilgrims, peasants, and dragons. Still trying to get my head around the flat earthers. Hey, Nigel, I haven't heard that for a long time, and it's great to be back and to see you back, sir. Karen Frost, he unscrewed the voter computer hoax, talking about Trump. Well, he's still trying to, and ongoing situation. Nikki Pattinson says, today I email our Education Minister, Mr. Gavin Williamson, MP. This is what I said, and that is as long as her or his comment is. So, so I don't know what he said. William Davis, how's the rig holding up? Ollie? Yeah, good, I think. Until Clegg bans us again, or, Google gets all Chinese, we're okay. We're still on at the moment. It did do some technical stuff, which is why I wasn't here yesterday and Thursday, what have you. William Davis, green screen used to be with BBC Basic. I remember BBC Basic, the BBC Basic computer program or whatever it was. I had one of those old machines when I was a kid, or they did at school or something. Nikki Pattinson says, nothing surprises me. I believe they killed the oldies off to drop population in nursing homes. I tell you, it really makes you wonder, doesn't it? It really,
and
really
let's be
makes
fair,
you
the
wonder.
elderly tends to be more Republican, don't they?
Yeah, that's right. Same with Brexit, no? I mean, it's actually quite convenient, coronavirus, from the point of view of demographic engineering, is it not? Kenneth Noel Curran says, how's Mrs. Murdoch the 6th? I don't know who that is, Kenneth, actually. He also says, gotcha versus got ya. How's Mrs. Murdoch the 6th? I still don't know what the reference is there, Kenneth. Tricky M, have you heard what Trump said about Obama may have committed treason. Oh, tricky. Oh, wonderful. Is there something new?
Well,
I'll have to go on to Q part.
He's already said he had previously said that mentioned sedition.
Yeah.
But which was kind of everyone's going, well, actually,
that's basically because Trump might have a point on that, and now Trump's starting talking about treason. So it's kind of like sedition's like the level down from treason. So it's kind of he's getting people ready for the stuff that's coming. Especially as we have two presidents in the United States. I want to talk to you. I want to ask you about timing, and are we looking at a pre-election crescendo? But before we do, I want to take a few more comments. I want to ask you about Chaz as well first. Let's take a few comments over on Fastbook as well. And Charlotte Jameson, I'm all right. You lot are screwed. Talking about something or other. Nigel Brown, I've been busy getting a divorce. Apologies for missing all you good people. Nigel, I'm sorry to hear that. No flat earthers around here, sir. And he also says, Amen. People forget what they learned at school about the carbon cycle. Armin Ahmud, I think that he's responding to, says, breathe in oxygen and exhale carbon dioxide unless you wear a mask. Yeah, these masks are very dodgy. You know what? Fresh air, for crying out loud. It seems to me ridiculous. Either been banned, i.e. Kerry Swan. So if you're watching this, Clegg, banner, because it's a fake account. Yeah, it's a fake account. Either been banned says no one has ever answered my question, why? Therefore, it isn't obvious to me. I do a lot of research, but never get informative answers from the conspiracy theorists, analysts, darling, analysts, in order to believe everything they say. No, we just make it up as we go along. Of course, Gary McCallan, Hillary is up in court on the 9th of the 9th. Again, Gary, yes, she is. Maybe she'll actually turn up in person this time. Nigel Brown, someone in fascist... that's about the server, by the way, the email server. It's ongoing, it's still there, Just that fake stream media are not talking about it. But it is still going on, that case. Nigel Brown, someone on fascist book, point his post to a website that stated that by 2025, US population will be down 100 million, the UK down to 15 million. However, China was still at 1.4 billion. Not sure what to make of it. Neither am I, Nigel. I've got no idea whatsoever. Maybe that Georgia Guidestones thing or whatever. But who knows? We've just got to basically get rid of Soros. Right, and Kissinger. So, I want to ask you, please, Boozy, Chaz, first of all, Chaz is basically that zone in Seattle, yeah, where
Chaz, Chop, Somalia, Soviet Union, Venezuela.
Bunch of smelly hippies who've... I'm a bit of a hippie myself, yeah. They are, though. They're smellier than me. They're a bunch of smelly hippies who are down there smoking a lot of pot and shooting people up. And it isn't working, is it? The mayor, Dunkin' Donut, or whatever her name is, Durkin. She has basically been down there. Apparently she gave him a load of money as well. And she went gardening with them, planting cannabis seeds and stuff like that. And then they start shooting each other up. One person died over the weekend, 19-year-old kid. 2 more shootings apart from that. So it's all going a bit tits up. So much for defund the police. Chris, are people in California looking at Seattle and going, maybe we should vote Trump?
Yeah, and this is the thing. What you might not have heard is that the decision has already been made in Seattle to dismantle Chop, Chaz, whatever we want to call it this week. Because of this, what the individual that died, do you know why they died?
No, shot, I thought.
They bled out from the shooting. Why did they bleed out?
Because they couldn't get an ambulance in there.
Because the EMT refused to go in because in a shooting incident, the protocols for the for AMR, which is the ambulance thing, CMTs. The protocol for them is that the area must be secured by the police to ensure the safety of the EMTs before they go into an area so that they can provide life-saving protection. The EMTs have no requirement to endanger themselves in order to save the lives of others. As such, because there was a shooting and because there was no police support, because they had basically run the police out the precinct because the police were told to stand down, and basically burnt the precinct down and got rid of all the police in that area. The EMT said, we're not safe if we go in there, so we're not going in there. And the person bled out and died because they received no life-saving care from an EMT. And it's now starting to hit home what the police actually do. And the very fact that the thing is, the very fact that the mayor was not allowing, basically was allowing this to happen, means that she can be held responsible for the fact that this individual did not receive life-saving care from the EMTs because she supported the situation that led to the fact that the EMTs wouldn't go in. So she was a party, effectively, her decision not to shut this thing down and not to actually, within this situation, this is actually a situation where you would potentially mobilize the guard, or actually even the federal military, you would could mobilize them, because what they effectively did is they declared themselves as seceding from the Union.
Yeah, that's
Acts
right.
of secession are met by the force of the military to rout such, which is actually the reason why there was the American Civil War, because you had the Confederacy seeking to secede from the Union, and in which case that's what started the war, where you actually had federal troops trying to prevent the secession.
So let's just be clear about this. They are talking about secession. This group of people.
Well, basically,
let me finish the question.
Sorry.
So they decide they want to secede. They want to basically get out. They want to have Hippieville Chazland, and there are people that live in that area that presumably are being held hostage, effectively, because they can leave. But then if they leave, their houses or businesses are being looted. This is what, 6 square blocks or something like that. And so there's this bunch of folks who decide they're just going to take this property, including City Hall and a bunch of the rest. And the Seattle mayor is in cahoots with this. They reckon that these people were let in to City Hall itself by one of the councillors.
Yes.
Am I wrong with any of that?
No, and this is where it becomes. It's not just that. Actually, one thing you are wrong.
Go on.
They can't leave because a border checkpoint was put in, which was manned by armed Antifa.
The residents, you mean?
And they were not allowing people to leave. You had to get permission to leave, just like the old Soviet. You had to get permission to leave it.
Silly.
And there were people who were having their stuff stolen, reporting it stolen, and then they were told, no, your stuff wasn't stolen. Obviously somebody had a greater need than yours, and your wealth was redistributed, because someone said they were going to leave because they couldn't have all their stuff stolen, because they had their laptop and anything that actually had value stolen out their tent. About 400 a laptop plus $400 worth of stuff was taken from them, and when they said they were going to leave because they couldn't financially afford to live here because everything was taken from them. They were actually told by them.
That's all.
It wasn't fair.
That is all incredible, unbelievable. Seattle and unbelievable.
Yeah, it's one precinct.
And then also terrible. The rapes and all sorts of stuff I've been hearing about, reading about. Terrible, 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 terrible. Awful what you say about the emergency services, quite understandably refusing to go in there because it's not safe. And so this poor person who was probably there for innocent reasons bleeds to death. So all very, very sad and all the rest of it. But America, stateside, I would have thought, would be looking at this and going, I'm going to vote for Trump.
Yes, and this is the thing. They are all of the. You're not hearing the Democrats criticizing anything that these people are doing.
The
They're
voter must
supporting
think the Democrats are mad.
And people are putting two and two together and getting for and realizing what it means if they vote Democrat.
Incredible.
And this is where we are now actually at. There are people who are still
Why are the polls, Chris? Why do the polls on CNN and even on Fox, have Biden in the lead? How can that be remotely possible? This bloke, who should be in a nursing home himself, he's like the president's brain is missing. If he was in charge, it would be like a spitting image sketch with Ronnie Reagan, except that Ronnie Reagan was worth having as president and Joe Biden would be a piece of crap. But how on earth, according to Fox, is he leading the polls?
Because of how the polls that are being taken, they are doing likely voter polls. They're not checking whether they're registered to vote. The demographics of who they're asking.
Why is Fox? Is Fox that swampy?
Fox has gone. Fox has gone.
What do you mean it's gone? What do you mean?
Fox is. Look at the new people that Fox has been employing as contributors. They are all Democrats. The only people that they've
Fox has been
chasing, and they're attacking. Look at how they attack people like Hannity and Tucker Carlson. They're attacking the people who are actually proper Republicans, and they're having people like Paul Ryan, who's a rhino.
Yeah,
they're having people like what's her face?
The former speaker,
the woman who used to be the woman who used to be the basically in charge of the DNC as
Donna Brazile.
Yeah, they're having these,
and she's a crook. She was the one that gave Hillary Clinton the questions during the debate with Trump.
Exactly. These are the people.
Donna Brazile
they're
is on
moving
Fox.
Away from
You're joking.
Fox.
Unbelievable.
We've lost
right.
Fox.
Last question, Chris.
We only have OANN now,
mate. I'll tell you what. I hope you're coming back on tomorrow. I want to continue this with you, please. But. Last question. I just wonder, because Trump is a showman, and I wonder if we're going to see some incredible timing. Don't get me wrong, I'm not completely 100% pro-Trump. I believe from everything that I've seen that everything else is considerably worse. But in terms of Trump, I hope and pray that he is genuine and that he will drain the swamp, and that then I'll give him a kiss on both cheeks, but on his face. But for now, I'm not sure. He could be an enormous, great big foil. But let's just assume that it isn't for now, and hope beyond hope, and have some faith in something, because we need faith in something, because otherwise we're going to go spare. Is it possibly the case that we are seeing the end game in this first presidential term of this showman coming to a kind of theatrical crescendo, whereby we really do start to see some of the dominoes of this swamp get exposed, if not actually fall towards November, with the prospect for the American people when they go to the polls, you vote for me this time and she will be locked up, etc., etc. Chris?
I think that is from what I'm seeing, different sources that I'm getting, it does seem that rather than him playing his cards too early, he's been playing poker, and he's been letting them up the ante, and he's sat there with four aces, and he's just waiting. He's just letting them think that they've got him, and he's just waiting. Come on, give more, yeah, up the ante. I've got nothing. Bang, and then do it at the right time, because if he does it at the right, we're getting now to a point where if he can play his cards at the right point, he destroys Biden with the Ukraine investigation.
Yeah.
Too late for them to do anything whatsoever. He's already got his name printed on the ballot papers. You basically destroy the deep state, like everything, right at that point, right as people are just about to put their pen on their paper, when the postal votes are going out, and when everything's going out, and they're just about, when they're getting their ballots, just before they're about to put their fingers on, wha-bam, and just hit, and it just, and you, then they go, and because there's been a build up, but there's been a build up so that people are open to hearing this, and they suddenly hear it and they're like, holy crap, and then they go, oh my, Trump.
Chris Boozy, mate, dodgy Tash, love you to bits.
I asked the wife, she likes it, so I'm keeping it, aren't I? Gotta keep the woman happy.
Were you ever in Terminator 2? Played that dodgy cop?
I would be a dodgy cop.
No, right. Terminator 3. Played the cop. Right, Chris Boozy, thank you so much, mate. I'll tell you, I am always so entertained with excitement. You get me hot under the collar, sir. The parallels between what's going on stateside and in the UK are such that, wow, I mean, they want to bring...
Did you see Trump's tweet about Johnson?
What was he saying about Boris? Go on.
He said, once I've completed my second term, I might have to stand as to be the Prime Minister of the United Kingdom.
Oh, well,
because Johnson has been has been a disappointment.
Really? Did he say? When did he say that? What? Just in the last few days?
I saw a tweet. I saw a tweet that someone had shared, and it said that. I'm like, what?
Well, look, we'll know on the 31st of December, 2020. We will know. Well, will we get Brexit, or will it be Brino and Bob?
Yeah, and we'll know in early November if basically America's got a chance,
buggered,
or it's
and the rest of the world with it. Yeah. I mean, this election stateside, people. That's what it's all about. That's what these riots are all about. That's what BLM's all about. It's all about destabilising the apple cart. Stop Trump. Stop democracy. Stop Brexit. Global government. China control. Soros. Kissinger.
It didn't all happen in 2016. It didn't all happen in 2016. Just like this sort of level of stuff.
Boozy, really. God bless you, mate. Listen, come back tomorrow. Come back tomorrow, for goodness.
I'm at work.
Oh, that's no excuse. See you tomorrow, folks. God bless you. Here's to us, a bugger, plutocracy. Hold on. Has that stopped? I've got no idea if the damn thing stopped. It's not responding now. Right. If it hasn't stopped, then go over to dailychaos.news and subscribe, people. I'll see you tomorrow, 7 o'clock. Now then, let me just see if this has stopped, just out of curiosity. We haven't had any chaos in the whole show, and so it's about time we had some. Bear Boozy, thank you, mate. That was awesome. We might still be on, so just
truth.
no,
Yeah.
it did finish. It did finish.
I've got
Yeah,
no-
looks like it.
No
Yeah.
idea. We might be streaming. We
Let
might be
me
streaming.
Let me just check. This election stateside, people. That's
And
what it's all
I
about.
can't
That's
vote,
what these
so-
riots are all about. That's what BLM's all about. It's all about destabilising the apple cart. Stop Trump. Stop democracy. Stop Brexit. Global government. China control. Soros. Kissinger.
It didn't all happen in 2016. It didn't all happen in 2016. Just like this sort of level of stuff. Did
Boozy,
it, really.
God bless you, mate. Listen, come back tomorrow. Come back tomorrow, for
can't.
goodness.
I'm at work.
Oh, that's no excuse. See you tomorrow, folks. God bless you. Here's to us. A bugger. Plutocracy. Oh, yeah. It worked. Perfect timing. Go on, Chris. Man,
we
that
can
was
to
awesome.
give back to those who have served and have sacrificed so much for us.
Chris, mate, I'll tell you, it is so bloody exciting, everything that's going on. I mean, awful as well, terrible stuff. But it's from a news perspective. As long as you don't get stabbed in the meantime, it's.
Well, yeah, it's like Ollie. I'm now sat at a desk that I've managed to put together. I've managed to get a study space set up, proper study space set up, because I'm going to basically be studying at home now until Christmas, because they're not opening the colleges, and so I'm here and I've got my drawer, and in my drawer of my desk while I'm working, I've got it next to me. It's in the drawer. It's in the drawer with 2 spare mags.
Oh, mate, bloody hell!
But yeah,
has it calmed down where you are a little bit?
it's calmed down. It was getting very heated. They were threatening to come into the suburbs, and then they were demonstrating. Basically, I live kind of on the top of a hill. I live off of a street called Redwood Street. Redwood intersects with 54th Street, and they were demonstrating all along 54th Street. So it was really close.
Yeah.
And I think I'm only safe because my area is not very white, to be blunt. I'm in a area. It wasn't always like this, but the area I'm living now is very much first generation immigrant area. So doesn't seem to be a lot. It's a bit safer than an area that's, say, very like suburby white. So, but it's still one of those things where I'm not carrying at work. I was initially when everything was going on. I just went, well, screw the rules, because the rules say that if I'm unemployed, if I'm on an unarmed duty, I'm not allowed to carry, even concealed, even if I've got a permit that allows me to, as a company policy. So I was ignoring that because I was like, I'm lone working basically, and I can't guarantee the police will get there. So screw the rules. I've got a permit. Permit's there for my own personal protection.
Yeah.
This stuff's
Damn
all
right.
going.
Damn right, mate.
Let's be fair, I look whiter than white. So, I don't even have a California tan. So, I stick out like a sore farmer's thumb on the target. So, there's no way I was going to risk it. But yeah, so the subjects I'm studying this semester: Black history, slavery period, and philosophy, logic and philosophy class on logic and critical thinking. I've got to do these classes,
Yeah.
but
Well, brilliant.
it's one of those where I haven't
Learn
got a
it.
choice.
Enjoy it.
Yeah, but
it's good, no?
It's what it. It's put it this way: if everything that's going on, having to study Black history is probably not a good subject because everyone's making comments.